All right, in this video we're going to talk about the capitalization rate, what it is, and how it's used in real estate. Quick definition is it's a cash production of the asset, assuming that there's no debt. So for example, if I buy something for $1 million in cash and the market capitalization rate is 6%, that's what I ought to get in distributions and cash flow in that year, right? Okay, so let's take an example of an apartment community that's producing $1 million of net operating income. That's revenue minus the expenses without debt service. $1 million. But let's also assume that the asking price from the seller is $19.2 million. Okay? Now, I've talked to brokers. Let's assume that I've done my research, I've looked, and we discover that the professional opinion that in this market, in this type of asset, in this class of asset, the market cap is 6%. Okay. Now, again, real quickly, this may not apply to other submarkets, other assets in other places in the country. The capitalization rate is specific to the market and the asset class, so we can't uniformly apply the cap rate to any market in any asset class, but we have to do our research locally. Okay. So we find out it's 6%. So what do I do to find out if I'm paying a fair price for that income? Because essentially in commercial real estate, we're buying income. Okay, so $1 million divided by 6% is actually, and I'm rounding off a little bit here, $16.7 million. So most of the assets that are trading at 6%. That'd be a fair price. Okay, so I know right away when I do the math, you know, it's 5.2% of a cap rate. That's too high a price. Okay, that's what I ought to be paying, or less. Now let's assume that I get this. Okay, this is my price. Now let's also assume that we hold this asset for 5 years, and we're going to go in there and we're going to offer covered parking. Say 100 people take covered parking. We're going to offer trash valet service. We're going to go into all the units and renovate the units and increase the rent. We're also going to get rent increases just by inflation over the 5-year hold period. And let's assume that after 5 years, the net operating income is $1.4 million. Now let's assume that the market cap's the same, just for sake of discussion, that it's still 6%. What's that going to be worth? Well, we take 1.4 million divided by the market cap rate, and we're going to get about 23.3 million as a market price on that asset. That's how we use this. Now, what I want to show you though is a more simpler way that we can see how the net operating income drives value. So if we're walking around the property and we find $1 of either an added amenity or a cost reduction, just say we just find $1, okay, that we can either save money on or add revenue. Well, times 12 months, that's $12, right, per year. If the cap rate 6%, then this is $200 in added value to the price. By saving $1, we create $200 in value in that asset. That's the power of forced appreciation using the cap rate.